Welcome back, you gorgeous people. Back to another installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling.
Ting, ting, ting!
Oh yes, we're joined by one of our favorite chefs in the house, Chef Clem. And if you need help getting out of those sticky kitchen situations, it's simple. Give us a call, 021 110 552. Now, every single time we have this Culinary Hotline Bling, and since we started introducing viewers into the mix, we have enjoyed welcoming our viewers in studio, especially for the Culinary Hotline. We have Vernon joining us this morning, who is going to be really taking us on a culinary journey of note when it comes to curry. Ladies and gents, please give a warm Expresso welcome to Vernon! Vernon, there isn't a welcome to Expresso, especially in the kitchen, without us knighting you with this, the Expresso.
Dun, dun, dun,
You want to play the Chariots of Fire in the mix there? And now...
We've got to work on some background music for this. Maybe next week we'll have it because it's too early, too early in the morning. Vernon, you can make an apron.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be lots of fun. Vernon, where are you from?
Grassy Park. I'm Grassy Park.
Ah, from Grassy Park, not too far from here. So, Vernon, you love spending time in the kitchen. You and I were having a chat at the start of this morning, and you were telling me two things that you love, the arts and the kitchen and making food.
Sure. Yeah, I'm an avid cook.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tell myself if I could be in the kitchen all day, I'd sleep there. You know,
are you serious?
Yes, I love cooking.
And that's not even a challenge, it's an offer. You are saying to us that you will spend all your time and all your hours in the kitchen. I love that.
Yeah, it's an enjoyment, you know, because it's a passion, you know. It's a love for cooking.
Well, it's a shared passion between you and Chef Clem, so I know that there's certainly going to be lots of magic going on here. Have you guys had the chance to bond about curry and all of that?
How do you know this?
Because I can see the ingredients.
Wow, it's a
I know these things.
Nice. But you had a question for us.
Yeah, I had the question on my mind quite long because I've been struggling with this for some time.
Yeah.
And it is, you know, when I make the white sauce for macaroni and cheese, when it's too thick, then it looks like cake.
Okay.
And when it's thin, then maybe too much liquid, then it's like soup. So what is the right proportion if I use 500 grams of macaroni? So what is the right proportion?
I'm glad you asked this question because it's quite it's a difficult one. People are intimidated by white sauce because they're scared it's going to get lumpy. They're scared it's not going to be seasoned enough. They're scared it's going to be too thick or too thin. Then what do you do with it? So it's very simple. What I do is for 500 grams of pasta, which is a standard packet of pasta, which feeds a family of 4, 6 maybe, depends.
Basically what I use.
Depends on portions.
Depends on the portions, depends on the family. Because I mean, the 500 gram pasta in my house will not, it's gone. So, it's super simple. What I always do, I start off with equal to volume, 3 tablespoons of flour, 3 tablespoons of butter. Okay? And what you do is, it doesn't have to be butter, it can be canola oil, olive oil, but butter is just what everybody has and they regularly use that for this recipe. So all you're gonna do, melt your butter first, add your flour, and then you're gonna toast your flour. Which is quite weird. People are like, wait, what am I doing? What they do is they mix it, and start pouring in the milk. What you do is you're going to toast your flour in the butter. You're going to start smelling it something nice and nutty. Start adding your milk, okay? And you add it in stages, and you mix. Here's the thing. When your sauce ends up being too thick or too thin, people start already adding more milk or more flour. You have to bring that mixture up to a simmer to actually see what the texture is really like. Then you add more milk. And remember, as it cools down, it's always going to set up. So I always make mine a little thinner than what it needs to be, and then you got your white sauce. For your mushroom sauces, for your lasagnas, for your whatever you need a white sauce for, macaroni and cheese, like I said, that's the white sauce you need to make.
Is that the mistake you've been making, Vernon, of adding the milk quickly?
I see that because the highest temperature is 5 on my ovens.
Yeah.
And then I go down to 4, but I don't simmer it. I don't go down to 1.
You got to simmer?
Keep and that's how I suppose it does go wrong. Well, that has certainly answered that question. I think it's helped me as well because...
I've got a better cheat.
What is a better cheat?
And I've gone down this route before in emergency cases.
Yeah.
You go down to your nearest Woolies and you buy the bechamel.
Because it's already done there,
and it's
right?
already done.
It's done for you.
And it lives in your cupboard. When you need it, pop in the pot, heat it up or microwave, and you're done. You're done.
I love that. So what are we doing and making there?
Okay, so we had another question about making acha.
Who asked that? It wasn't me, but I would love to know how to make
So
acha.
here's the thing, right? I love acha.
Yeah.
And the thing about, especially if you're in Cape Town, maybe even Joburg, if you got to find those green mangoes.
Yes.
You need to, you can get a tender faster than you can find a supplier of green mangoes. And it's true. You need to know someone who knows that auntie that has a mango tree. And then once you do, some olive oil came in there. So what happens is once you get your green mangoes, it's important that you have to dry your mangoes out. And then you have to season it, salt it, and you put it away for a very long time.
What do you season it with?
You get, okay, we spoke about this. You get a meaty seasoning, but you also get a spice mix that's specific for the curing process and the seasoning process of your mangoes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's fun. You go out there, meet the spice suppliers, meet the people that are doing these things. So what you're gonna do then is you're gonna find the green mangoes, but I said that's tricky. So I've got a nice little date acha recipe, which is nice because it goes well with, so good with cheese. A cheese platter, it goes well on a burger, it goes well. Even if you're making a steak, the service on the side, it's quite a sweet condiment. It's not that we like serving something sweet without curries.
Yeah.
And this is the one that you're gonna make.
Love
you ready
your
for it?
work. I'd love to see that come to life. And listen, we want you to cook along with us. Go on our website, expressoshow.com. On the website, we've got all the ingredients you're going to need to create all of this magic. So go and check it out.
Okay. So, onion's gonna start browning. You wanna go nice and low and slow on the onions.
Okay.
Because you wanna caramelize the onions and bring out the flavor in them and the sweetness. Onions, have you ever bitten into raw onion? You get that pungent onion flavor.
Unpleasant thing.
Yeah, but you also get slight bitterness. It just overpowers your mouth.
Yes.
So you wanna slowly cook that until it starts to caramelize. And the trick is to add a bit of salt to it.
Okay.
The salt draws out the moisture of the onions. And you'll see, the more you cook it, you can even start smelling it becomes sweeter. Are you with me, Tabiso?
I am with you,
Okay.
very much with
This
you. I'm
one-
paying attention step by
So
step.
what I love about this one is just like normal acha, it can stay in the jar and it can live in your fridge
For how long? For like a long time, right?
like you can give it to Tabiso Junior. It's gonna last that long, okay? It's gonna last that long.
Do you like acha, Venon?
Yes, oh yes.
Yes, you're my guy.
Okay, chilies go in. And here's the thing, I've said it before, in 2021, we're not giving quantities for how much chocolate to use. You do that for however you like. We're not giving quantities for garlic, we're not giving quantities for chili. You do that by feel, okay?
But, yeah, it's about like feeling it.
It's about
going with
feeling
the flow.
it.
Your spirit must speak to the pot. Going all of that into the pot.
Dates go in.
Mixing. Dates go in.
Garlic, ginger.
goes in. Ginger goes in. You got some spices?
Garam masala, and you can also add a little bit of extra coriander to it to give it that extra flavor.
Great.
That's going in. Bring everything, you literally just have to add everything to the pot, a little bit of water.
Yeah.
It comes out like that. You can make it thinner or thicker, depends how you like it. Put it in a jar. I'm telling you this, I did not know, with a toasted cheese sandwich on
good.
there.
It smells so good.
It's
But
so
listen,
good.
we love to do this. It's the Culinary Hotline playing here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We've got Vernon from Grassy Park here in Cape Town joining us this morning, who really is about to express his passion and see it all come to life here in the kitchen. Connect with us on our Facebook page. Use that hashtag Expresso Show with any questions that you have for Chef Clem. We'll see you after this.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. A few more minutes left to take in that daily dose of Feel Good here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's time for the Culinary Hotline, Bling!
Sing.
Oh, yes! And we're joined by Chef Clem to help you with any of those conundrums in the kitchen. The number is 021 110 552. Dial it, and he's on standby to answer any of your questions. So, I'm not even done with the phone number, and the phone rings, Vernon. It rings.
Sure.
Would you like to answer it for us?
Oh yes. Good morning, Culinary Hotline.
Hi.
How can I help you?
Hi.
Let's
Hi,
put
it's Selma.
Selma, you're on speakerphone now. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Durban.
Durban, South Africa's playground. How's it looking this morning?
Rainy and gloomy as ever.
Oh no, but that's the perfect excuse for the perfect comfort meal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've got a question that's got to do with a special dish for that kind of weather. What is your question for Chef Clem?
I've been trying to call for I don't know how many months. I somehow never get through. So it's my luck that I'm through today. And he happens to have steak and he's talking about that in front of him. So the thought crossed my mind immediately is I wanted to know how to get the steak as tender as possible because I've used rump steak, I've used top sky. I know nothing about steak. My husband knows everything about cuts and things and he tells me, no, cook it slower. My father says cook it on high. They say cook it for like a minute and then take it off. Others say cook it with butter and close the lid. I've tried everything, but somehow it still always ends up tough. or not like you would get it at a restaurant. You would like
I got you.
cut
I
it
got
with
you.
a saw.
I got you. And will you? Okay, I've done this. I did this last year, but I've got the best demonstration of how to get a tender steak. But I need you, Tabiso.
You need me for
need
the
you to come
steak.
here.
Okay, cool. Well,
Okay.
watch closely, Selma.
Okay.
Vernon,
Okay.
please also
Come.
pay
Okay.
attention.
So,
because this
we've
is
all sanitized.
the art and science of steak.
No.
What's happening?
Okay, so we're all sanitized, all good, we're all fine. Vernon, check this one out. Okay, so the trick about cooking a steak and to
Yeah.
get it extremely tender is to
right.
actually take it out the fridge before you cook it. Let it
Okay.
come to room temperature as much as possible. Okay? And I've got a good demonstration of what happens when you cook a cold steak.
Okay.
All right.
Am I the cold
You.
steak?
So, it's like you said now, it's rainy, it's gloomy in Durban, and it might be a little colder. So imagine you're extremely cold, and then you jump into a hot bath, but your body's nice and cold. Can you come here, please? Now turn around. Can you lift your jacket up a little bit? Can you give me a tipa? Ah! You see what happens? You see what? Do it again. Ah! If your body or if your meat is nice and cold and you're something hot, that happens, right? Work with me here. So now, if you come inside and you let your body come to room temperature, and your body's temperature is a little higher, and you get into that same hot water, because your body's relaxed, because your body's at a more ambient
Yeah.
temperature, you relax into the heat.
Okay, Selma, while you're watching that, Venom,
Selma?
maybe you turn around. Maybe you turn around, maybe this way. Let's see if you're a hot or a cold steak. Let's lift your shirt up a little bit. Let's see, Zipa, maybe?
What's going
Is this a hot or that's a cold steak?
It's a
cold
It's
steak.
a cold
It's
steak.
a cold steak.
Okay, so Salman,
That's it.
that's your first step. Let your steak come to room temperature. Then everybody in the background is doing the tipa now. It's crazy. Guys, you're not part of the demonstration. Just focus on the cameras. Okay, so what you're gonna do then is I've got a sirloin over here,
Yeah.
and I'm scoring the fat on the sirloin.
What can Vernon do to help you with that?
Vernon, you know what? You can actually, I'm gonna ask you to demonstrate. Okay, you can be in charge of the steak.
Okay,
Here we go. So what I'm doing now is I'm crisping up that fat that's on the steak,
Yeah.
and I'm asking you just to swirl that steak around in the pan to get that fat nice and crispy. I'm gonna demonstrate how we seared the fat. So you can use a normal chef's knife.
Okay.
What I find actually works better is a little serrated knife.
Okay.
What you want to do is the steak's got its lean part, which is the meat, and then it's got the fat cap. And when it comes to meat, fat is flavor. If you're scared of the fat, cut it off afterwards. But cook your steak with the fat on. Then what you do is you take your serrated knife and you cut into the fat, being careful not to cut to the meat.
Why do you do that?
This is gonna help that fat release from this fat cap.
okay,
So you're
okay.
cutting through it, so when it heats up, it's gonna start releasing that fat. Plus, because you scored it,
Yeah.
that's gonna go a little crispy. And we want the crispy. So I'm gonna go into a diamond shape, all right? And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna season my steak. Season your steak about half an hour before you actually cook it.
Why?
And you'll notice there's this beautiful sheen that comes into the top of your
From the
steak.
salt.
And people say you're drawing out moisture out of your steak. It's not really, but that moisture that does come out, there's a special name for it, scientific name.
Yeah.
Once you put that down in the pan, that's what gives you the crust. So Verna, can you show us your fat?
Oh.
Okay, it's nice, it's perfect. It's not burnt, that's exactly what you want. Now, let me turn the heat down a little bit. And now you can put you swirl that fat around, the beef fat, and put your steak down.
Okay, sure.
You can put
Love
your steak
that.
down.
But there's a whole science to
No,
it,
no,
it
no,
seems.
it's in the pan. You can lay down fat.
And we actually had got another question that came through from Clinton out in Gauteng, who asked the
Put
same
down, yeah?
question about
Perfect.
the perfect steak recipe. So, Clinton, if you are watching, hopefully this is also answering your question and showing you the perfect way to get the perfect type of steak.
One more thing. When your steak comes out the pan, rest your steak.
Okay.
If you cut your steak immediately, all those juices you've worked so hard to lock into the steak
Yeah.
are just going to come out.
That's why then it's droog
Yeah.
after.
Then it's
Yeah.
droog, and no one wants a droog steak. So what you do?
Nobody.
Let it rest for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What I also like to do is, obviously, let's pretend that we've got that beautiful sear on the steak already.
Yeah.
So if you say now you cook the steak both sides, you've got that sear, let it rest. I add some extra little butter on top of it. That's going to keep it so delicious and juicy. It adds so much flavor.
Yeah.
I'll also add a little bit of rosemary to the pan, and you just start basting that buttery goodness over your steak.
Well, we got another question. The steak is going, and that looks so good. Vernon, is this the perfect steak in your opinion? Your type of steak?
Yeah, it depends on basically how the person would love the steak.
Yeah.
If it's medium rare,
Yes.
well done.
Yeah. How do you
So-
like yours?
Well done, basically.
Okay.
Well
Like
done.
me. Like
That's
me.
fine.
We got another question here, actually, before we get carried away with the steak. This one came through from Helena, who says, "Good morning, Chef Clem. I don't always have eggs, so I usually bake without eggs. Would you recommend it? 1, have you ever tried baking without eggs? like cakes and scones and flapjacks without eggs.
Yeah. So the good thing about flapjacks is you can actually do it without eggs. That's perfectly fine.
Oh.
There's so many recipes without eggs. But in general, if people want to bake without eggs,
Yeah.
I got you.
What's the substitute for eggs?
Aquafaba.
What is that?
Sounds strange, right? But it's something we've been throwing down the drain for the longest time.
No, man.
When you buy a can of chickpeas
Yeah?
and you drain off that liquid,
Yeah.
that liquid can be used as egg substitute. And it makes the most amazing meringues. And it can be used to like thicken things. Aquafaba. So don't throw that away. It freezes
Use it.
really, really well. And it's something we've been literally throwing down the drain for years. Aquafaba, that liquid that comes from the tin of chickpeas. Another thing you can also do
Yeah.
is, but if you, like apple puree.
Yeah. Use the
But
apple puree.
But that's a little harder to make. So actually, the aquafaba is what you need.
You have so many hacks and tips and tricks and all of that, but herzogies.
That's what it is. Very quickly. So I got a question, someone
Yeah.
saying that their pastry always breaks when they start rolling it.
Yes, this
Very
question
simple.
actually came through from Rebecca. Says, I like making jam turnovers, but every single time it seems that the jam keeps oozing out, even if I've reduced the amount of jam.
That's a turnovers, right?
Yes.
It's all about the dough. So here's the thing. I'm going to ask you to help me out with this very quickly. Baking powder, flour in that bowl. You're going to add your butter and you're going to crumb it together for me. We're going to make this dough. And the thing about this dough is you want to
Throwing
work
it in
with
there.
everything.
Can I put the milk?
The butter must be chilled. Put in the milk. Put in the... Actually, it's fine. We're supposed to crumble it together. But we're fast forwarding. And the vanilla goes in. The thing is you have to work with your butter really, really, really cold.
Yeah.
When the butter's nice and cold, you can let it rest.
Yeah.
And then your dough's not going to be that fragile anymore.
Okay.
It's all about the dough. Cut out your rounds. Use it for your hatzoggies.
Yeah.
Use it for your turnovers.
Yeah.
Dollop in the jam. We're going really quick, but the recipe's on the website. You're going to need to make this. All you got to do then is add your jam to the center, chill your pastry first, then bake it. Tabiso's already gone for a snack. Take the whole thing. Take the whole
Vernon,
thing.
you have to try one of these. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's been fantastic. The Culinary Hotline. We love you. See you tomorrow morning.
Bring.
Mwah. I love you so much. So much.